Okay.
Mayor Newton.
So first,
Yeah,
I mean, just, you know, certainly first official workday. Wish everyone a happy 2013. Looks like the Mummers Parade was very successful yesterday. Weather held out. I also, you may or may not know that continued a tradition actually started by Mayor Street 13 years ago to visit all of our city prisons on the first day of the year. Mayor Street could not be there. Mayor Good was there, and Sharif Street and many community members, trying to give some hope and inspiration to many who are incarcerated, and that's the way I start the new year off. So it's the first real official work day for me. But today, we're all slowly kind of getting back into the swing of things. So you might have a few questions.
As a matter of fact, I was going to talk about guns, but fiscal cliff real quickly, sense of relief,
Yeah.
or not relief.
The President made it clear all through 2012, certainly through the heat of the campaign, maintain a fundamental principle that millionaires and billionaires should pay more, that this is the first time in 2 decades we've had a bipartisan approach to raising taxes on millionaires and billionaires, and it will stay in place. The President's basic point was everyone should pay their fair share, everyone should play by the same rules. So that was certainly very important. Equally important is that taxes will not go up for the middle class in America, 98% of Americans, 97% of businesses, that the tax credit to help people send their kids to college stays in place, that tax credits for research stay in place, and a number of other provisions. Equally important, 2 million Americans who lost their jobs through no fault of their own, faltering economy, their unemployment insurance benefits stay in place as well. So there were a number of issues that were addressed, and certainly, again, the fundamental principle, which is now in law, at least for the time that President Obama is in office, that the deficit must be dealt with in a fair and balanced fashion. And the President has made it very clear that he is more than willing to continue negotiating about spending cuts, but there must also be an equal amount of revenues put on the table at the same time. He is not willing to go through the disastrous events of the summer of 2011, going through this exercise with the Congress with regard to the debt ceiling limit, which has been raised at least 30+ times, going back to Ronald Reagan and every other president since, that money has been expended, bills have accumulated that the Congress has agreed to, and then they want to fight about whether or not the full faith and credit of the United States of America is behind paying those bills. That is nonsense. That is insane. And so I agree with the President. You shouldn't negotiate about that. The sequester has been pushed off for a couple months. There is a point of negotiation there, certainly, as well as an overall budget for the federal government. It is amazing to me that the federal government, unlike virtually any other government in the United States of America, has 2 major deficiencies. One, they can never seem to actually pass a budget, a real budget, that is balanced, like we have to here in cities and states all across the United States of America. And secondly, that they have no capital budget. The imperative to invest in infrastructure, to invest in research and development, to invest in education, innovation, and get Americans back to work still has to be part of the job of the federal government. At the same time, protecting our children. I applaud the President's commitment, as demonstrated through asking Vice President Biden to head a task force on the issue of violence in America and safety, coming, of course, out of the incredible tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, and we await the results of that task force report, which I think is possibly sometime at the end of this month. So a lot of work still to be done. We need to reduce the deficit. It has to be dealt with, but in a fair and balanced and bipartisan fashion, which we did see at the 11th plus hour. I mean, this is something that went into overtime, actually, but fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. The President, working with the Congress in a bipartisan fashion, did pull us back from the cliff, fiscal cliff, but there's still a lot more work to be done.
New year, same old guns, same old violence. New initiatives you were talking about, I know,
you know, there's again some context to this. You know, on New Year's Day 2012, coming off of New Year's Eve, unfortunately, in 2012 was even worse than what we just experienced yesterday. So there is some context to that. We started off the year in a pretty horrendous fashion last year. I believe it was upwards of 9 homicides. In this particular case, 3, at least by gun, 2 indoors, 1 outside. Now, the Philadelphia Police Department is pretty good, and I'm very proud of their work. It is obviously a lot more difficult for us to prevent homicides in a home. The one, unfortunately, a 16-year-old, was outside. All of this, though, is further indication of the #1 problem here in this city and in many cities across the United States of America is illegal guns and the proliferation of guns in general. That the fewer guns that we have on our streets and in streets across cities in this country, you will have fewer gun crimes. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure this out. And so we will, I can assure you, further step up our proactive efforts to get more guns off the streets of the city of Philadelphia. But even those efforts, as good as the Philadelphia Police Department is, does not account for the fact that Pennsylvania, unfortunately, has some of the weakest gun laws, not by my estimation, but by other experts. Pennsylvania has some of the weakest gun laws of any state in the United States of America, even as compared to our neighbors, New Jersey and New York. There is a reason that, and this has been consistent over 3 mayors in New York City, Mayor Dinkins, Mayor Giuliani, and now, of course, Mayor Bloomberg, that gun violence has been going down in New York City. One, there's been a consistent effort in that regard. New York City has strong gun laws. New York City has strong gun laws. And we have been tremendously fought at a variety of levels over a long period of time, not just my time as mayor, to try to take on this great challenge. You will hear from us very soon about additional efforts to deal with this issue, from my perspective, both at the city, the state, and of course the federal level, in my capacity as president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. But back to the kind of laws that, for instance, in New York City, we've seen in the most classic case, Plaxico Burress is a well-known person, has a gun, shoots himself in the leg, and does 2 years in prison. Everyone knows in New York City that carrying a firearm is a very serious threat to your future freedom. And we have to better communicate that message in a variety of ways. I call on all of you, certainly here assembled today, to join with us in a public safety campaign about guns, about carrying illegal guns, about the threat to public safety, but also that you can face serious jail time as a result. Our District Attorney, Seth Williams, in the second half, certainly of last year, we saw some of the benefits of what we announced back in January of last year with regard to bail issues, sentencing issues. The courts, I think, are also stepping up their efforts, as well as the Philadelphia Police Department. But it also requires the community. We unveiled a number of different social media opportunities and other ways to communicate with us, text tip hotlines, 100 Most Wanted Criminals. When we released 100 Most Wanted People in the city in March of last year, by the summer, 87 of those folks have been arrested. And so we had a horrendous start to 2012 and really actually started to catch up in the second half of 2012 in terms of dealing with some of the violence and crime. And while homicide numbers are up slightly from last year, the shooting numbers are actually down pretty significantly, somewhere in the 9 to 10% range. And so we have a slightly unusual anomaly here where actual homicide numbers have gone up, actual shooting numbers have gone down. The answer to that is what we see now at crime scenes: 20 to 30 shell casings. the number of headshots involved in homicide is up somewhere in the 10% range. And the multiple shell casings numbers are up pretty significantly as well. These are individuals who have targeted a particular person, and a proliferation of bullets being fired from weapons whose only real purpose is hurting, maiming, and killing the largest number of people as possible, as we saw in Newtown, as we saw in Aurora, as we saw in Tucson. It's all the same. Small town, medium town, big town. It's about illegal guns, it's about the accessibility of those weapons, and certainly semi-automatic firepower that should not be in the hands of civilians, should not be available to civilians in the first place.
Mayor,
that's what's going
Mayor,
on.
the announcement that you alluded to, initiative you're referring to?
I'm really kind of not much in a position at the moment to get into a lot of details. Certainly it is about Philadelphia and our particular challenge. You know, the number of homicides in this city as compared to the rest of the state is pretty significant. And so obviously, and that's big cities all across America. There are other cities that are facing some of the same struggles. But, you know, we need additional power. We need additional flexibility. Again, I've said on many, many occasions, I have tremendous respect for the Second Amendment. But your right to have a gun should not interfere with my right to live, our right to be safe. And that, again, we see just across the river, literally, and to the north, other states that are able to, on the one hand, protect the Second Amendment, and on the other hand, better ensure the safety of their citizens. And we've been constrained in that regard for a long, long period of time. The numbers are the numbers, and all of us want to be safe. But the weapons that are being used in this mass destruction, in these year-long massacres of our citizens, are not the types of weapons that folks are using to hunt deer and elk and you know, wild turkey and game. These are weapons who only have one purpose, which is to shoot and kill people. And we need to have a serious, non-hysterical, less political, more policy-driven conversation about public safety. People have a right to be safe. Children, seniors, and working-age folks.
Would that be this month that you would be announcing that?
Very soon.
So how do you deal with
The overwhelming majority are. I mean, you know, we got to call it for what it is. 75% of our homicide victims are black men.
Right.
And about 75% of the people that we arrest for homicide are black men. I mean, you know, we don't need to sugarcoat this. Everybody knows what the deal is. 85% of the homicide victims in Philadelphia are killed with a gun, almost all of which are illegal. So, I mean, we have a serious gun violence problem in America. The top 25 cities in this country, if you check the Department of Justice stats, what you will find is numbers ranging anywhere from 40 to 80% of the homicide victims in 25 top cities in America are black men. That is a significant problem, and on any other issue, on any other measurement of any other issue, if you found that the proportion of victims was completely disproportionate to their representation in the population, something will be done about it. And so, again, that's why I've also called for, this is a national issue, it's a national problem. We need a national perspective on what's going on with gun violence, illegal guns, and why there is this targeting of African American males all across the United States of America with regard to this type of violence and the type of weapons that are being used. They have one purpose, that is to kill people.